Good evening, everybody. Hey, I'm the Facebook Preacher, and today I'm going to let you know a little bit about me and where I come from, and just some of the stuff I used to do, and some of the things I used to care about back then, and who I am today. And just knowing that we don't start well. Or sometimes everyone can kind of start perfect and just kind of live the perfect life, and then they start making some mistakes, and then and then you just kind of start over. But the biggest thing is even when we don't start well, or we start well but then we make mistakes, is it's about finishing well, finishing the race, having faith throughout everything, and staying strong through tough situations, and again, finishing well. So today I want to talk to you about me not starting well. We all have our past, we all have our mistakes, and for me, I have a lot of mistakes, and it's and just being irresponsible and things like that. And one of the biggest things is just not knowing God, and what a difference that has made in my life. So a lot of people have talked to me about getting my story out there. People have asked me what made me different, what made me change, how did I know. I've had a couple questions asked now to where I feel like it's time to get a testimony out there, and then I hope that this answers everyone's questions, or if people wanted to know a little bit about me and where I come from, or why I'm doing this, then today's the day. Today's the day where you're going to find that out. So I was born in San Bernardino, Upland, California, and left to Vegas when I was about 3.5, and lived in Vegas till I was about 12 or 13. Now, Vegas, I feel like, has a lot to do with one of my biggest sins I've ever battled with, which is sexual relationships, lust, just a lot of things like that. And Vegas is just, it's out there. I mean, you can't walk the streets without seeing, naked women on taxis, or half naked women. You can't walk the strip without people trying to get you to go into strip clubs. Being kids, being kids walking around a strip, you're still revealed to a lot of things, especially on Fremont also. And I remember my brother and I, we would pick up cards from the ground, and our deck of cards that we would play with would be naked women. And I would go and be like, "Hey man, what girl you got?" And we'd see if we could pair, if we had the same girls. And then also, I don't know, I just feel like a lot of kids that, girls I even talked to back then, knew what was up too. And so it was just, even at a young age, you were still really open to all of it. And I remember going into a gift shop, and there was this pin, and it had a girl on it. Well, once you put the pin upside down, everything came down, and she was naked. So you had a naked girl on your pin, and that's just how it was. So Vegas was definitely something I feel like kind of introduced me into that. And then also Vegas, I learned about how the mob ran Vegas, and I learned about Tupac Shakur, and he really became an idol when I was younger. And Vegas just definitely left a mark on my life, and it's not necessarily bad. I miss Vegas, and I always go back, but some of the things that I battled with, and even today, it just has a lot to do with what you're surrounded by. And that's definitely part of it. So then we came to Utah, and coming to Utah was definitely a change for me. I used to have a walk and say homie and things like that. So coming to Utah was definitely kind of like a change. And so I kind of just want to cut this as short as I can. But I came here, acting like a bad boy, got in some trouble, got in some problems, had some good friends, had some bad friends, and then I ended up meeting these friends who are older, in their 20s or 30s even, and everyone would just come and hang out at this house. You had people that were on the run, you had people who just committed whatever crime, and everyone's coming and hanging out at this house. Well, this house, I ended up meeting everybody because I had a bandana hanging out of my pocket, and one of them was a game banger, and he hit me up on the color I was wearing and everything like that. And once they realized that I was just some stupid kid, having a bandana hanging on my pocket, they actually took me in and I hung out with them. And there was just, I got to do whatever I want. I mean, I could drink, I could smoke. I mean, I could bring a girl over if I wanted. I mean, really, there was no rules, there was no boundaries. We could do whatever we wanted. The main buddy of mine, he had this convertible, and I remember we'd be like standing on the freaking convertible, just going down the street, drinking, do whatever we wanted. And for me, that was just a perfect life because I learned about, gangsters and mobsters, and so this was kind of like the closest I could get to that was by having that freedom of doing whatever we want and just meeting all these people that were on the run and just seeing how they made it while they had everyone looking for them. And so a lot of me wanted to be bad. A lot of me wanted to be a gangster. And there's so many different things that I wanted to be and I wanted to be known as. And then I started getting into a little bit of selling and then when people started getting in trouble and were put on probation, I had to get into trying to get spice on the side so I can help people, still get what they needed. I've done a lot of different things. And some of the biggest things I regret is just hanging out with people that hurt other people, and so many people didn't deserve it. But some of the biggest points I want to get out there is that I had a past. We all do. And that whole time I never really knew God. I knew of God, but I didn't know him. I was raised Catholic, and it was just kind of always serious, repetitive. Didn't really feel like everyone really got to know each other that much, and I kind of had a problem with just thinking that you just go confess everything to a priest, and then it was all done. And there's just a lot of things I battle with. Now, I'm not saying if you're Catholic, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, or wrong with being Catholic. Just for me, I never knew God that way. I never had that relationship because I had more religion, and religion ends up just throwing a checklist on you, and you have all these expectations of what you can and can't do. And then half the time, you got everyone who's trying to put you down. They have their own. They're throwing stones when they have stones that could be thrown at them, because we all sin. And that was just one of the hardest things about trying to know God is just seeing how we had to do all these different things, and how you have to be baptized as a baby when that's God's children. And so there's a lot of reasons why I feel like I just never really knew God when I was younger. And then once I got into living in sin and having sexual relationships all the time and just doing everything I was doing, and just doing whatever drugs I wanted to do, drinking and driving. I had a Camaro, and I went through someone's yard, nailed a couple trees, flew in the air, landed on the ground, and we were actually on our way to Hot Pots, which was in Midway. When that happened, and it was just really crazy. But that's another thing too, is just kind of remembering that and saying, hey, you know what, like, there's been plenty of times I hung out in my front yard. So what if there's a couple or people hanging in their front yard, and here I come running through with my Camaro? It could have ended really badly. It could have taken some lives. Could have changed my life in a whole different way. And probably then I would have really grown to know God, because I killed some people, be in prison. And but throughout all the mistakes and all the things I've done, I had a Christian mom, Corinne, and